Hello everybody, this is Karamsko018, and this is going to be my thoughts on My Hero Academia, Season 3, Episode 6. Ignore any beeping sounds you hear in the background, it's my Discord going off. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust how I'm sitting. Anyway, a lot of stuff happens in this episode. I just went through the episode trying to find things to talk about, and yeah, last episode, Tokoyami's quirk had gone, well, out of control, because not only is it in the dark, but when Shoji got hurt, his Tokoyami's emotions, well, caused it to go even more out of control than it probably would have. And Shoji tried to get Midoriya to choose between either helping Tokoyami or saving Bakugo. Obviously, Midoriya wanted to help both. And he actually found a way to do so, because they ended up getting Dark Shadow to chase them right towards where Bakugo and Tokoyami were. Or Bakugo and Todoroki, I'm sorry. I got Tokoyami on the brain at the moment. Anyway, they try and get one of the two to, create some kind of light to keep Dark Shadow under control, but Bakugo tried to get Tokoyami to finish off the villain that they were fighting, the one with the weird teeth quirk. And he easily did so, which is quite surprising considering that Bakugo and Todoroki had a hard time with it because of the limitations they had with the trees. If they didn't have the trees around, they probably would have beaten him. Maybe. Anyway, once he was beaten, the other Bakugo and Todoroki created some kind of light, fire, explosion, whatever, and got Dark Shadow under control when Tokoyami was able to get back in control. And he's not immature, he just needs to be more careful with his emotions, because, like I said, if his emotions get out of control, his quirk goes out of control. And I can understand, the mechanic of that, because his quirk, I'm guessing, is, partially at least tied to his emotions, even though Dark Shadow's got essentially a kind of a mind of his own, I think. Anyway, and yeah, so I'm guessing they kind of share emotions, possibly. So when Tokoyami was upset, Dark Shadow became more aggressive. Well, even more aggressive than it probably would have been. Anyway, we actually see something that ends up happening with a few of the other characters that we didn't get to see. And actually, we missed a whole fight scene, I guess, because we didn't get to see what happened with Yaoyorozu and, dang it, what was the other guy's name? I'm sorry. The guy who was with her in this episode, because they ended up encountering the Nomu that Dabi and the others had brought with them. And it was a very, very deadly looking Nomu, because not only did it have, I think a buzzsaw for one limb, drills for hands, a chainsaw as well. Yeah, it had a lot of very dangerous weapons on itself. And not only that, but it had, I think, a piece of one of the Pussycats' outfit on it. Or it's her headband or whatever she was wearing, because that was attached to the Nomu. I think it's mouth or something. So yeah, it must have injured her pretty badly, and I'm guessing the villains dragged her off. So yeah. Anyway, Dabi had to call back the Nomu because they were all heading to the meeting place. And it's a good thing that they did that, because if they hadn't, the Nomu probably would have, gutted the both of them. And Yaoyorozu got the smart idea to create a tracking device and have him attach it to the Nomu with his quirk, which is weld. Essentially, he can weld anything to another thing, which is why he was able to keep a hold of Yaoyorozu, because he had welded their arms together. Because if he hadn't, he probably would have ended up slipping and dropping her. Which would have been bad for her, because she would have gotten hurt by the Nomu and possibly from the fall. And we didn't even get to see the fight between them and the Nomu. We only saw the aftermath of it chasing them. Anyway, we actually finally see Aoyama, Jiro, and Toru, aka Invisible Girl. And Aoyama was supposed to take the two of them back to camp because they were out cold from the gas. And Aoyama heard that the villain with the quirk that was creating the gas was defeated. And he's thinking, oh, maybe I should help fight too. And he kind of peeks out from the bush and, oh god, I thought Dobby had seen him. But I do think, does anybody else think that Twice has a multiple personality thing going on? Because that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. If I'm wrong, then feel free to tell me, but don't spoil anything. But thankfully, Dobby did not end up seeing him, or if he did, he probably thought it wasn't important enough to, you know, do anything about, because they had left, and after calling back the Nomu. And I know I'm kind of jumping ahead in the show, but back to Bakugo and the others. Midoriya ends up telling them what happened and that the villains are after Bakugo, and they decide to try and make their way back to camp, and by taking a shortcut, because they try and take the long way around, they could end up running into the Pussycats and the other two villains that they're fighting. And going the other way would be taking the long way, I think. So they take a shortcut, and Bakugo is kind of looking at them going, huh? Huh? Look at them the whole time they're discussing this. I'm like, what the heck is that look on his face? Because it seems like he's confused. And then he's not too happy about being helped. Because he's the one the villains are after, so they had to protect him. He's not either not happy about it, or he's just not used to it. Anyway, they all start heading that way. With Tokoyami bringing up the rear, which makes sense. I'm tired, I'm sorry. Anyway, what else ends up happening? Sue and Uraraka end up running into Toga. Not good, considering she's the girl that ends up... That's essentially, I think they said, a suspect in a bunch of... Dang it. A bunch of, murders. And, yeah, she runs into them, and tries to, well, obviously, stab them, get blood from them. At the time, I didn't know why, but after seeing a certain end of a certain episode, I think I know why. But I'm not going to spoil that until it gets to that point. But yeah, she's wanting to get blood, because she's talking about how it's not much blood that she got from Uraraka when she cut her arm. And the two try to fight her, and, well, Sue ends up getting caught against a tree, and Toga's acting like they're all friends, which she's got a very warped idea of friends, I guess. And Uraraka goes and helps her and uses her martial training from her internship to subdue Toga. And Toga creeps her and me out to no end when she starts talking about how, oh, Uraraka's in love, and how, what kind of boy has caught your eye, and how the kind of people that she's interested in, and it just gets really weird and disturbing, I guess. And it obviously disturbs Uraraka, because I can tell by the look on her face. And Toga catches her by surprise by using that little needle suction-y thingy, and gets her in the leg and gets some of her blood. But thankfully, before she can get either not too much or try and go after Sue again, the others arrive. Midoriya and the others arrive, and Toga is immediately attracted to Midoriya because she had just finished saying that she's attracted to guys who are all beat up and bloody, and Midoriya pops up all beat up and bloody. So I think that's part of the initial attraction. I don't know if Toga is actually attracted to Midoriya in, you know, an actual way, or if it's just the whole beat up and bloody thing. But when they tell Toga runs off, and they tell the girls that they're trying to bring Bakugo back to camp where he'd be safe. And, well, Bakugo and Tokoyami are missing. And a masked guy who looks like a magician pops up, claiming that he's got both of them in two little orbs in his hand. and he tries to run off. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, I think in this episode, uh, Vlad King, Vlad Kane, I can't even remember what his name was. The teacher for home class 1B. Another Dobby clone pops up. I think this was last episode. If it was, I'm sorry. But another Dobby clone pops up. He fights the clone, and Aizawa shows up and beats the clone to a literal pulp, and tells them all to stay there. Even though they're allowed to fight, they have to stay there because they don't know what else the villains have in store, or they don't want them to obviously get caught in like the fire or the gas or whatever. And Aizawa runs off again. Anyway, the others give chase to the Mr. Compress, I think is what his name was. But he's obviously getting too far ahead, and you get Sue to wrap her tongue around them and use Uraraga's zero gravity to fling them at Mr. Compress. And it actually does work, and they catch him and literally land on him on the ground in front of the other villains. And that is actually how the episode ends. And that sucks. Anyway, a lot of people actually like Toga, but I am a little slightly disturbed by her. Then again, she's got, I think she's got a very warped opinion on what love is and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm really eager to see what happens in season 4, because like I've said, I've gotten through all of season 3. So yeah. Anyway, once episodes 10 and 11, I get to 10 and 11, I'll try and get them both out around the same time, because you all, for those of you who've already seen the episodes, you know what happens. Anyway, yeah, this whole thing with the villains at the training camp is not quite over yet. It'll be over in the next episode. Well, in that area, of course. Not quite done with the villains just yet. Oh no, not quite done with them yet. Not by a long shot. Anyway, that's about all I have to say on this episode. And I will see you all next time.